Today, we have a very interesting speaker. We have a French entrepreneur. Ooh la la! I know, right? You know, he started establishing companies since 25 years old. Could you believe that? Mainly in Asia, right? And he has actually spearheaded a lot of SMEs, which specializes in natural gas, chemicals, and even medical technology. Now, he's very passionate about giving value-added creation in all levels, especially in environmental, cross-border environments. He also is a great believer and really passionate about innovation, and he is also passionate about empathetic leadership and also creating value in M&A creations. And he has lived in many countries actually. He's a Frenchman, obviously. All right, but he has lived in Malaysia, Niger, I believe, and even China. And now he's actually residing over in Bali with his beautiful wife and children. Amazing, right? He's like, he travels around the world. And currently, very interestingly, was chit-chatting with Christophe, and he was telling me that now he's actually going into establishing an academy called Yatsar Academy, which is a spirit-led, right, God-driven, an academy in entrepreneurship, starting 4 campuses starting in Malaysia, and then moving on towards Europe, America, and Niger, right? Africa. In Africa, we just can't wait to hear from you. So let's put our hands together and just give a warm welcome to Christophe as we invite him on board to have a chit-chat.
Thank you. So good to be here.
Yeah, welcome.
For the second time, actually.
For the second time?
Yeah, I actually came once for very short, just to see where I was stepping in before I would accept to come and talk. But since I'm here, I believe it was okay.
Wow, that's amazing. The topic that you have chosen, it says that when business gets complicated, how do spirit-led entrepreneurs respond? Now, this is really a heavy topic, but yet at the same time, it is so relevant and interesting, especially the world is swirling with issues like tariffs lately, the trade war, right? So maybe you could just tell us a little bit about why you choose this topic and what's the objective today.
Okay, why? So it's not directly related to tariff. So if this is the reason why we came
Thank
here
God.
tonight, I think I direct you to more professional people or media. But yeah, being an entrepreneur, being a businessman, that's, as you say, that's all I've done in my life. I don't know anything else but to start businesses. My very first job, when I was hired, it was actually to start a business. And that was by a French company that decided that Malaysia, wow, that country far away, could be a good place for them to develop their business. Right. But on the other hand, they feel it was a bit risky. They didn't want to spend too much. They said, let's hire the cheapest guy we can find.
And got you on board.
And that was me. Yeah, one-way ticket to Malaysia. I arrived in Subang Airport. See? Although I look like I'm 25, but yeah.
You do.
There was an airport in Subang. Okay, it was one of the last flights in Subang Airport. And so, yeah, I was sent here. And, okay, we don't have to go through the world either. But all I've done in this, I'm 52 now, so about 25, 27, almost 30 years actually, was to create businesses. So for people initially, and then, of course, when I caught the virus of entrepreneurship, I started some on my own. And yeah, the idea today, thanks to the time I came here before and I chat with a few of the people here, it was really to have just a talk, but intentional talk. That's why I didn't want. I'm not a sifu of anything. I don't want to be the guy on stage telling you what to do. You know better than me definitely what you should do. But just to encourage each other, in in looking how we can improve ourselves, basically, you know. I believe some of you, if not most of you, are business professional. You are all familiar with the idea of continuous improvement, you know, Kaizen and all this. But how do you apply this to yourself? So, and basically, when the business is running fine, you know, I would say it's quite easy. I mean, it's a great thing to do. You have to go on Sunday, or here is on Thursday, but to go to church and praise God that your business is doing so well. So this part I found is not that difficult to do. Although again, it is very important to put time aside to say thanks. But when things get a bit harder, you know, and in business it does get hard as Christian, you know, as a believer of Jesus, you know, having the Holy Spirit living in us. What does that mean practically, you know, when there are things that you have to face, you know, which is not always easy. And so the idea tonight, it was really to, again, I'm not here to read a book. I didn't write a book anyway, but to really exchange from my own experience or experiences that I witnessed in my business life, and maybe from your own experience. It's meant to be interactive. And how do we encourage each other, you know? How does iron sharpen iron, you know? That's also in the Bible. Is not just something nice to write on the board or somewhere. It's really something that we should apply in our life. So this is basically the intention of having that talk today.
I think we're going to gain a lot of insights, especially with your experiences and your business acumen, I'm sure. But that word, spirit-led entrepreneur, is really a very profound phrase. So would you be able to expound what do you mean by spirit-led entrepreneurs?
Okay.
The fact that, you know, being in the environment of businesses and even in workplace, it's sometimes doing business is a cutthroat kind of environment, businesses. So what would you be able to expound on that phrase, Christophe?
Yeah, actually, to me, or the way I read it, for me is a pretty simple concept that as Christian I can share from my own experience. I used to run a business being a Christian, you know, but not being spirit-led. So I'm a Christophe-led entrepreneur.
That sounds close, but yes, okay.
So I'm not sure about you, but yeah, you understand. And then even Christian, so it means like, of course I was doing everything on my own with my own intelligence, and of course I'm so intelligent that I'm so successful. And the only time I would remember I'm a Christian is when I would hit the wall, you know. And hitting the wall, I would still try to do it on my own, because I know how to do this, I try this, or I try this, or I try that. And when really I have no other solution, then I remember that I'm a Christian. I have this guy called Jesus in my backpack, you know. I just go reach out and put him out and say, wow, hey, sorry, I forgot about you. Can you help me to solve my issue, because you are so mighty and so powerful, and I trust you, you're going to do it, you know. And he would do it, actually. And as soon as he would do it, then I would thank him, you know, maybe pray or sing a little bit louder on the next Sunday in church, and but still put it back where I thought back then it would belong, you know. Where spirit-led is a 180-degree shift of posture. It is really to submit everything, your life and your business and your everything, to him. And it means that living God or the Spirit take the driver's seat of your business, if we're talking about business, and you become the steward, you know. And for, you know, I'm French. You know what are French people famous for? No idea?
Croissants.
Sorry?
Croissants.
Croissant, yeah, okay. But
Buckets.
come to.
It's not bakote, but buckets, right?
Yeah. Come to character. Somebody say?
Bucket.
Yeah. Did I hear romance?
French news? Just me was saying
romance.
French news, right?
So French people are romantic.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah. I don't know, until now I don't know why, you know, but I'm fine with it, you know. Whenever I go somewhere, French, oh, you must be romantic. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, just Assume I'm romantic. Okay, so this is one part. The other part, French people, very stuck up, very proud of themselves, you know. Proud of their romanticism. You know. So put all this away, regardless of your nationality. You know, your ego away. The ego can be so damaging, and spirit-led. Yeah, basically, to me, is God is in the driver's seat, and you become his partner. Yeah.
That's wonderful to learn that you have become Christophe-led to Christian-led, and thank God for your Christian backpack.
It's still it's a transition. It's not something that would happen overnight. It is a journey, but yeah, this is on the journey on which I am today. Yeah.
Right, I'm sure. Would you be able to share with us probably some experiences that you have experienced where you actually practice, you know, what it means to be spirit-led because you have been setting up companies for 25 years. I'm sure you have vast experiences and difficulties along the way.
Yes.
Would you be able to share a particular experience?
Yeah, actually there are lots of them I'm happy to share with. But just before we do that, I just realized that I don't know most of you, you know, and but you don't really know me, okay, although we've been chatting for 5 or almost 10 minutes. But can I ask you, just to get to know who you are, who here is Malaysian? Are there any Malaysian here? Okay, maybe we do it the other way around. Who is not Malaysian here? Okay, so already we have one here and one here and two there. All right. One behind. All right.
So Indonesian.
So where you are from? Indonesia. Oh, dari mana? Jakarta. Wah, saya tinggal di Bali. Ya, bagus sekali ya. So you are from the UK, England.
Wow, welcome.
And two over there are from China and Austria. Okay, all right. So it's still a majority of Malaysian, right?
Yes, we are.
Anyone from Penang? Oh, Penang. Okay. You know, everywhere I go, when I ask if anyone is from Penang, it's always here. Whoa! Somehow Penang, I don't know, there is a very special place in Malaysia. You know, wherever people are from Penang, they are so happy they are from Penang. Yes. They may be a little bit proud of being from Penang, I'm not sure, but in a good way, right? Correct? Yeah. If you ask, but you cannot do all the city in Malaysia, in Johor, Malacca, or whatever, but whatever Penang, well, everybody is. Anyone is from East Malaysia? No. East Malaysia? No. Maybe your colleagues at SIB, there are many, but yes. Here, no. Zero. Okay, I thought there would be maybe. You are from East Malaysia. Okay, from Sabah? Sabah. Okay, wow. So at least we are one. And come to work, let's say you are all professional. Anyone is a business owner working for his own? 1, 2, 3. A few here, a few there. Are some working for people then, I believe? No one is working. Only one? Oh, yeah, okay. Hey, by the way, is anyone not working? Yeah? All right.
These are the privileged group.
Yeah. But is anyone not working because he or she is looking for a job? Then we could also help, right? Are you? Looking for a job. Okay. You too. All right. Okay. Then we got 3. Okay. There. I bet you didn't know, right?
I do.
You know? Okay. Well, okay. No, but that's important. Maybe we can do something about it later. All right. Okay, last question I have. By a show of hand, let's imagine today we are on the island, you know, middle of nowhere, and we're going to be stuck there until the rest of our life, you know. And the only 2 food you can choose from that you're going to feed on until you die is either 1, rice, 2, noodle. Who goes for rice? Okay, who goes for noodle? Wow. So I think it's more rice, huh?
I think it's more rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go for noodle.
It's our staple diet.
Yeah, okay. Oh, sorry, it was nothing to do with the topic, but I just wanted to. Not to kill time, huh? Don't worry, but it's just to get to know you, a little bit better. And now, maybe back on your question, if we can do something together, talking about knowing each other, is how well do we know ourselves? You know, can we spend a few minutes of self-reflection? Yeah, just a quiet thing, huh? Don't worry, there is no thing about show me who is doing what or whatever. It's just about all. I just prepare very simple question, and can we close our eyes? It won't be too long, but it's just like when you look at you as let's say as a professional, regardless of what you actually do in life, how do you see yourself, okay, as a spirit-led person in terms of people? You know, how do you relate to people, whether people who are in your company, the people you have to deal with, the people as the tax agent, whatever people that you deal with? Do you treat people equally? Do you look at people as a image bearer of God, you know, regardless of who they are, whether they are the janitor of the VP of your company? And if you can just give yourself, so again, there will be no show of hand or whatever, it's just between you and yourself, and you and God. Out of 5, maybe, what kind of score you want to give yourself? You know, just pick a number. We're just looking at it from 4 different angles. Try to remember the 4 different scores that you are giving yourself. The second one is come to money. Of course, when we talk about business, we often talk about money. And how do you steward money? Is money one of the main drivers of your life? Are most of your decisions driven by money? When coming to making an investment, is the return, the financial return of that investment, the first thing you will be looking at? Or is money something that you feel is useful but somehow secondary in your decision-making process? Yeah, again, try to give a number, an honest number. It's not always easy. The third one I'm proposing you to look at is in terms of purpose. You know, why you are doing what you are doing in terms of professional activity. You know, is that something that somehow you ended up here by accident? You know, by personal drive, or do you feel like, did you take the time to know what is God's purpose? You know that God has great plans for each one of us. Even for those who are not His children yet, you know, He created each one of us with a purpose. And today, do you have a strong sense of purpose in your life? You know exactly why you are doing this. Is it to follow like a life plan, or you are more going with the flow of life, of opportunities? So again, on a 1 to 5 scale, where do you put yourself here? And the last one that I'm proposing you to reflect on is in terms of impact. You know, whatever we do in life has impact, you know, on other people's life. Whatever we say, you know, whatever we do, sometimes just what we think, but that comes transform into an action. Eventually, are we intentional with that impact? You know, do we think about the kind of word we use, the kind of action that we want to take in order to reach, hopefully, a positive impact? Or are we really focusing on the impact that we can have? So yeah, that give you 4 areas that I'm proposing you to focus on for now. 4 different scores. If you add them, all of them together, you get a score out of 20. And if you multiply this by 5, you get a score out of 100. If you need your calculator, go ahead. If not, just take that score. And yeah, that's all we have for now. And I'm just proposing you, again, this is not, you can open your eyes, that score would be your anchor point for today of where you think you are today. And my only wish for this evening, is that by having this kind of discussion together, that of course you feel like to increase that score. So is it going to increase tonight? I don't think so. Maybe it will by a few points. But do you really want to launch yourself on a journey again, as we say, a Kaizen or continuous improvement in a company? Do you want to Kaizen yourself and to take effort to take some action in your life that actually going to take you closer to 100? Okay, 100 being the perfection. This we know is not for us to achieve. It's only God who can be a perfect. But excellence is something that is encouraged us to reach. So, yeah, just think of that score, and then maybe in a few months or year or whatever, we can have another session. See what you have put in your life into practice, and then where is your score, and then happy to share some score increase. Yeah.
Thank you for your 4 reflections. Pretty interesting. And rightly, said by you, when you run a business, and even as we go about at our workplace, there are these 4 things that comes to mind, right? I mean, a company consists of human capital, and we have to deal with them, right? We have to deal with them in terms that they are our subordinates, our superiors. It could be our supplier. It could be our business partner. It could be our colleagues. It could even be the relevant authorities. So how is it, perhaps you could also share with us as to how do you handle difficult people along the way? The fact that, we are called to be spirit-led, whether as an entrepreneur or even as a worker at our workplace. How do we handle this kind of situation when we talk about people?
Well, come to this question, that makes me thinking of one story. I thank God it's not my story, but it's a story that was shared with me. Part of my job is actually advise different business owner on their business, and especially that spirit-led part of their business. And so I get to know, of course, a lot of people and a lot of stories, and I can share this one with you. Okay, is without sharing who is the company or the people, but this guy, maybe we can call him Calvin. So Calvin, basically, he runs a wood manufacturing business. They make wood-based products, And he's doing quite well. He's a Christian guy. He's a very generous person. And then there was a young chap that was presented to him through the church circle, and asking him whether he would hire him, more as a favor. Maybe I don't know exactly the background of the young person, but okay, it was more of a favor. And then so this Calvin, he hired the guy, and he really took care of him. And then he groomed him, and then I'm very happy to see him, really like progressing in his company. And then he grew. He worked through different kind of departments, and then he reached quite a senior position in the company. Stayed there about 8 years or so. And then eventually, this guy, I forgot his name anyway, doesn't matter. He decided to leave the company. He had some issue, personal issue. The mother-in-law in Ipoh is always, everybody has a mother-in-law in Ipoh. I believe some of you do have a mother-in-law in Ipoh, but I think there are more mother-in-law in Ipoh than anywhere else in the world that need attention, and okay. So, but basically, okay, he had this issue to be dealing with. So, okay, then he has to leave. So he said, okay, yeah, sure. Even through a nice party, farewell party with all the staff, and I'm really happy how this young guy from nothing, but from really a challenging background, went through, and then how much he had achieved, and then he was moving on to something else. And then time went by, and the things continue. And then after a while, this Kelvin, he saw that the business was not doing very well. You know, the sales especially were dropping in a few especially key clients. So he went to go and talk to this client and to see what was going on, you know. And he said, oh, yeah, no, we don't buy from you, we buy from your associate, you know, we heard it's the same company and all these things. I said, I don't have any associate. All this while it's just my company, there is no associate company. And guess what? Yeah, the guy is supposed to go in Ipoh, taking care of his mother-in-law. No, actually, all this was bullshit. Actually, he just created this company, direct competitor to this Calvin guy who has been so good to him. Wow. And then you are faced with this kind of, I mean, this is not, sadly, it's not uncommon. You know, this kind of thing happen. You know, greed is really something very present in the world. So people will do anything they do just to, make some money. That's why it's important also to know what place do we give to money in our life. So, he was faced with this situation, basically, and this person to him, basically, he treated almost like his own son, and then eventually came and stabbed him in the back. And this person, this is what really inspired me. I'm not sure what you guys would have done, you know, in this situation. You would do like, but here we're in the church, so we have to say nice thing, right? But maybe tomorrow morning we talk about it. We have another round of nasi lemak, and then you tell me what you actually think about this young guy. But this Kevin, he really, including myself, honestly, I'm nothing better than anyone. I feel like, of course, it will be very tempting to take things in my own hands and be a bit nasty with this guy. But this Calvin, he decided to first to forgive. Right. You know, this is what the word of the Bible is telling us to do. You know, to forgive and forget. Yeah, and this guy say, "Oh, me, I'm a Christian, so it's much better than the Christophe led guy that a few decades ago was running his business." And then, okay, this is what when the Bible is telling me to do this. It's not just for me to have something nice to chunk on Sunday and then to sing about or whatever. This is really real case scenario. This is what God is asking me to do, and I do it. And this is what he did. So he forgave him. He decided to forget him. But we still have what we call in Yatsar, the academy that I'm developing. We have our head in heaven, but our feet on the ground. All right. So it's not just head in heaven. It's not just feet in the ground, definitely. Otherwise, I don't think you're not even a Christian anymore. But then he decided to win back this customer one by one. Not doing anything nasty or whatever, but he's still in business. He's an intelligent guy. He has a great team that he has developed with him. He has great product. And then basically he told me, actually it was a blessing for him. He took this as a blessing because, he was serving this client, and because of this guy did to him, he had to work double hard, you know, to be double better in his customer service, in his product and everything. And eventually he got back this client, and at the same time he improved himself and his company, and then they applied this to every other client that they had. So as a result of this, this business went booming through the ceiling because of this challenge.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I like guys like Calvin, you know. Wow. And this is the kind of people I meet almost every day. So imagine how blessed I am.
Thank you for sharing. What a turnaround.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
That's amazing. As we trust God and to obey His commandments and to surrender everything to Him.
Amen. Right?
That's an awesome story. And going back from businesses to even our workplace as workers itself. I've chit-chat with some people, and they were telling me about how toxic, a company can be, the culture itself, and also with the politics that they have to navigate. What are the, advice you could give us as we navigate through, what they have at the moment? They can't change it in that sense because it's already there in existence. How do we navigate through it without compromising our beliefs?
Okay, so for me, the first great thing to start with is really, as we say again, to work on your purpose. You know, why? To reflect and to get some clarity, some insight, why God created you, Pastor, you, and you in the first place. You know, it was no accident. God doesn't create people and then throw them on the planet and go and see what happened. You know, so spending the necessary time, get help if you need to, because it's not something also that is easy to do. But in growing that, of course, your identity in Christ, and what God is expecting from you to do. Why is so important? Because when facing difficult kind of situation, let's say in the workplace, but you have that certitude that you are here in that company, or you're running that business, or you working at the toll booth attendant, or cooking nasi lemak, whatever you do, but you do it not by accident, but for a purpose, you know. And then when you have this really deep inside you, that would really help you. It's not going to solve everything, you know, that nasty people, that politics, whatever, they're still going to happen. But you know that you're here for a reason, that is already going to help you. Another one that I really encourage people is to have a buddy. You know, it can be a mentor, it can be a friend. There is a lot of decision, you know, that we make, regardless of the business that you are running or you're working for. But I always found that just to have just one person, if you have more, why not? But just one person with some kind of accountability. Okay, then you define, of course, how deep you can go. You know, how much you can share with that person, depending on your relationship. But just to have one person that you can share with, just have a coffee downstairs, you know, and just sharing something. That already half of the issue, is already solved, and it's not something very complicated. It doesn't have to be a very expensive seafood from I don't know where, but just someone that you can trust and just develop that sense of accountability. You know. I was one of them. I think he came here. You know, my friend Nehemiah Lee. Nehemiah is a guy building walls in. Okay. So we are buddies, and he told me, he shared with me, and he is my sifu because he's got great experience. And although I'm a bit kind of Malaysian, he's much more Malaysian than me. And he was sharing, you know, he chose to call his company Nehemiah. You know, he's building walls. He feels Nehemiah, the one who built the wall in Israel. So I call it this way. And then in Malaysia, you know, he was bidding for some contracts with, I think it was with JKR, you know, with the water department. And what he was told, okay, you want to bid for any contract here, first thing you do, you have to change your company name. You know, this is somehow is a Muslim country. You call your company like this. No way we give a government contract to a company called Nehemiah. But somehow he chose, you know, it was not easy, you know. Maybe I just changed the company name. I call it Mr. Wong Wall, whatever. Boom, maybe I get the contract. No, but he decided to stand on it because of his sense of purpose, why he's building those walls, not just to have walls all over the country. And also having some accountability with somebody. You share this, you are stronger. Maybe your person, this buddy going to encourage you. You are so on purpose, you are so spirit-led, stand by your faith. And then it was not easy again, but eventually he got contract from JKR, and he told me recently that until today, even those special contracts, special means better money contract, his company is still getting that, and he's still called Nehemiah Sandhya Berhad or whatever. So
the one who built the highways, right, Nehemiah?
Yes. Yeah, the retainment wall.
The bricks, the retaining walls, and every time you pass by, think
octagonal shape.
Correct.
You see his stamp there.
Yeah.
He write on his business card. He's written on the business card that his company, I forgot how the way it's written, but basically, the DNA of their company is integrity. Imagine, in Malaysia, when you're dealing with this kind of contract, and you write there, black and white, okay, my name is Mr. Lee, and this is, I make wall, and our company is 100% based on integrity. So now, let's talk. But you know, you need this kind of people, and me, I feel so encouraged. And this is one of the famous examples in your country, but there are plenty of other people who are not that famous, but who have that kind of stand. Right. And knowing one of them, you know, definitely is going to help you and help me. You know, my score also, I won't share my score with you, but it's not fantastic. I also want my score to go closer to 100. And this is one of the thing that I put in place in my own life, and the people I advise professionally is to have that kind of buddy.
Thank you for sharing your insights. Thank you for reminding. Let's not quit our jobs tomorrow, okay?
Right? No.
Let's remember that we have our identity in Christ. There's always a purpose.
Unless that you took that job without even thinking of that purpose, and you just arrived there by accident, and maybe that place is a toxic place for you. And by making that reflection on where God wants you to go, maybe it was not in this place in the first place, and then make that decision. But don't do things in the sequence. You know, get that sense of purpose first, and then take the decision to stay, to go, or to whatever it is.
And also thank you for sharing that. It's so good that when we are surrounded by godly people around us, right? People who are mentors, people who we are accountable to, that we will go a long way, right? So it's so good. Anyway, I would like to open to the floor for any questions. Any one of you have any questions for Christophe? You wouldn't get an opportunity to ask another Frenchman, okay? So please do. Any questions from the floor?
It can be related to food, to whatever. Doesn't have to be business. No question or any comment? Or, yes, tell us.
Give a second. Maybe you could speak.
Yeah.
More on that?
On the Yatsar Academy?
Yeah.
Okay, this is one. That's the business I'm doing now, that I'm actually creating now. So it doesn't exist yet, which is even more exciting. You know, normally business builder, they love to build it. Once it's already up and running, first thing we do, we look for someone who can run it, or we dispose it, and then we want to go and start something else. So right now I'm at this very exciting phase of building it. So in 2 words, what it is an academy, is a school, a business school, where we teach entrepreneurship to people who want to become entrepreneur, to start a business and to run a business. And the whole curriculum, so it's a 1 year, is a full 1 year. You think of an MBA, kind of MBA, but which is only focused on creating business. In residence, so I'm going to build a campus where students stay on the campus, like you would go in Harvard, Wharton, or whatever, studying something else. And the whole curriculum is a very practical thing. I don't know, I can say here, I call it the no bullshit one. There is no, not much of conceptual thing. It's really a practical thing. Something I would have dreamed to have in a school, you know, when we take you from creating your business plan in a very practical way, doing your marketing, doing your company creation, what are the legal setup that you can have. So really a one-by-one, A to Z kind of thing. And it lasts for a year. So, and the people going there, not only they learn how to set up and run a business, but they actually incubate and start their business while they are on the campus. Meaning that all the practicals, we don't do practicals on the imaginary 1, 2, 3 lemonade stand, whatever. When we talk about marketing and website creation, for example, okay, so there are people who are professional about it. And the practicals for the student or the business, future business owner, they work on their actual website. So 1 week later, their website is already ready, whether it's already live or not. When we talk about business plan, we talk about all the good elements of a great business plan. And at the same time, people create their business plan. So they are ready. Basically, at the end, the deal is they enter with the idea of their business, and they exit at the end of the program with the keys of the company, because the company already exists. And all of what we are sharing there is all biblical based. So every part of it, how do we run a marketing? Just to get one example, we're not going to go into the whole program. One day maybe we do another session. Come to marketing, basically, yeah, we are inspired by the way Jesus shared his message to people. You know, sometimes you have quite a difficult, complicated message to share. Jesus, he was using parables to do that. And how not to be inspired, by Jesus marketing. Sorry, Pastor, I'm not sure is it the correct word, but I think in this kind of church it's okay. Right? But and how basically how he got his message through just by using images, parables, and then you can really transplant this and make use of this in your own business plan. You know, another one I had not long ago, I was really inspired in the middle of the night. It happened to me. Well, I'm breathing basically that business, so that sometime middle of the night, boom, something come to my mind. So I need to switch on the light. You know, my wife. Another idea. She have to turn under her pillow, and because of course I need to write this idea. I don't want this to go away by the morning. And it was a recent case. We're looking at Yatsar, our own company, how we're going to develop what going to be our marketing strategy. So right now we just have a very simple landing page. If someone Google Yatsar, okay, you'll find it, but there is no active marketing. And I had this Bible verse that came to my mind. I cannot remember in which book. That is not to let your own mouth boast about yourself, you know, but let other people talk about you, basically. And somehow, middle of the night, I was inspired by this. The whole day we've been working on marketing, and when this thing came, middle of the night, of course I had to write this verse. Lucky I was traveling in Penang, so I was in my hotel, so I didn't have to wake up my wife because I was on my own writing the verse. And then the next day I shared this with our team. I say, hey, you know, come to marketing. You know, why not we also use this approach? You know, we are teaching biblical-based entrepreneurship, but of course we apply it to our own business to start with. Otherwise, we have no credibility, right? So now our business, this is how our marketing is going to look like. Okay, business-wise, you know, we are feet on the ground again, you know, but all the campaign and the action we're going to design are going to be geared towards having people talk about Yatsar rather than Yatsar in a very traditional way, you know, putting a poster there. Wow, look how we are beautiful. These are pictures. We are so powerful. We've got people from all over the world and all these kind of things. So we really design our business marketing based on the Bible verse. Thank you.
Right. Thank you for the question. Coming back to Yatsar Academy and the fact that you were sharing that it was a God-given idea. How do you discern whether it's when you go for ventures, upscaling, and so forth? How do you know that it's a good idea versus a God idea? How do we discern that?
I think this lies in your ears, you know, training yourself to first listen to God. It's not something that just come by itself. I believe you need training. It's good to have, typically pastors or people who can help you to really make the difference between what is your own little excitement or what really comes from God. In my own example, the day I received Yatsar, is not me who created it, you know, who thought about, what I'm going to do this kind of thing or whatever. I used to do this many, many times. And I was sharing earlier on, I would just submit those great ideas, this one definitely from me, to God, and to let Him endorse this, you know, but it never happened. And only when I decided to 100% commit everything to Him, which means really everything, only He made, and then I told Him, I said, come to business. rather than I'm here presenting all my great idea to you for you to approve, and obviously you're not approving them. Why don't you tell me what is your plan for me? Because I know you have a plan, you know, and now that I'm here, I will, basically on my knees, in tears, you know, in my house in Bali, and then the next day, this is when this, it was an actual download, actually, of the Yatsar, whatever we are doing here. The whole plan, you know, it was just downloaded over like maybe a 10-minute kind of encounter. To be honest with you, although entrepreneurship, it is my passion, education it's totally not my passion at all. Even my own children, I removed them from school at a young age because I thought that school is boring, you know.
Well, the kids would love a dad like you.
Yeah, I did ask them. I say, is it? Yeah, you agree with this? But both of them, they have a passion. One is a surfer, the other one is a horse rider and a horse whisperer. So I say, well, all this time you're going to spend in school, you have no time to be with the horse or surfing with your daddy. So maybe we just scrap the whole school altogether. They were young. They were like 8 and 10. And they live a different kind of childhood. So maybe more on this another time. It's also quite a long story. They're still alive, and they're happy, and they still...
Praise God for that.
And they look like they still love their dad. So, okay, we are happy with that. But there are just a few people. I've been sharing this all over the world, in Asia and in France. And then those who have really that understanding really of God's clarity, you know, they also confirm to me, they say, wow, knowing you, definitely this is not from you. This definitely is God asking you to do it because, again, the education part is totally not my... He was not. No, he has become a patient, but initially he was not. What has become a patient is basically the multiplying effect that you can have through education. So rather than I start a new business again on my own, and then maybe with some impact, hopefully good impact, it's just one business. But Yatsar, it means like every year, we size it, one campus, you can have up to 100 entrepreneurs. So 100 entrepreneurs means potentially up to 100 businesses. There might not be 100, maybe 70 or whatever, that actually start a business for the glory of God. That in the admission process, that's the only thing we ask people. That business that is burning on your heart, what is the purpose? Why you want to develop this business? You know, and all those businesses have in common is the intention is to give glory to God through that business. So it can be any kind of industry. It can be, nowadays everybody, if it's tech, well, tech is good, tech can make money and all this. Okay, it can be tech, why not? But it doesn't have to be tech. It can be construction, it can be hospitality, it can be a big one, it can be a small one, where the intention is, I want to commit my life to Jesus and to glorify God in whatever I do. This also is many times in the Bible, you know, but it's not just in the Bible to stay in the book. It's in the Bible for you to take it and put it into practice in your whole life. So this is basically the reason why Yatsar is being created.
Thank you for sharing the purpose. I think coming back to the reflection that you were asking us to do, and the most important thing is about what we worry about is money when we start a business, right?
Yeah.
Profitability, and every business is about bottom lines. And even as we are working for a company, we think about our bonuses and things like that. Is there any moments in your life where you have to choose between profits and between the profits and your principles? What does the crossroad looks like as you navigate through it?
That's a tough one. Maybe next.
Next question, is it?
The money is always the one that people don't feel too comfortable with. But somehow, I feel I've been blessed in this area because I do feel very comfortable to talk about money. For me, money is just, it's part of life, you know. But I'm really not shy talking about, I sold my businesses. People ask me how much I sold it for. Okay, I can tell you exactly, you know, how much I earn, how much I give, whatever I do with money. So for me, it's really, money is, I can talk freely about it as easy as I would talk about what I eat last night. So it's not an issue at all. I can give you one, but of course, it doesn't mean that I'm not struggling or I've been struggling with money. I can give you one example. This is related to investment. You know, so after selling my business, my new business basically became, I'm an investor, you know, with the money I make from selling the previous business, and this is where my profit come from. And there was a year not long ago where the stock market, I mean, those investment I made was going through the ceiling. You know, now it's more through the floor, but that year was through the ceiling. And you know, I already planned when I did my financial planning. You know, okay, I invest in this, that, and then diligently I put, okay, whatever I earn, this amount, this many percent of it, I will give to the church. You know, and but this year, after I sold a few of my portfolio. The money I made was it was a lot, you know. So a lot means the money you're going to give, since this is what you already planned beforehand, is going to be a lot. But a lot, like if it was in cash, I think I would bring like a full suitcase of cash so wow. Okay, I was committed to do it, but I have no idea how I'm going to do that. You know, I've never done this in my life, you know. And then when you think about church, suddenly you feel like the church with so much money, but what they will do, you know? Are they really good steward? Do they really know what they're going to do? You know, you have all these kind of questions that somehow is pulling you away from that initial commitment that you were planning to do. And so I was processing this. Honestly, not super in a rush to give that money away. I know it's there, you know, but okay, we will. Yeah, I will know. And eventually, so I was in Bali, but that was during COVID, and the church I was connected to is a church in France, quite a sizable church, which is quite rare. You know, when you think about France, the first thing you're not thinking about is Jesus. But actually, there are churches growing in France, which is very encouraging, and this one is a great example of it. And I was watching this church online. I didn't know these people, you know, because all this while we had been online. I feel I knew them because I see them in my TV. Of course, they didn't know me. And one day there was the pastor, you know, coming here, almost on his knees, you know. So really humble. You know, sometimes those kind of big churches, the pastor trying to be a bit like, you know, in the room, right? You know, so he's the strong guy and blah, blah, blah. Of course, he has part of his leadership, but this one but you seldom see them like really humbling themselves, you know. And this pastor, he was the case, and he shared basically what was the situation in the church, something had happened because of COVID and stuff like this, and basically that fantastic church that was growing nearby Paris and then drawing a lot of people, having so many baptisms, was on the verge of bankruptcy, you know. And the way he put it, he said, wow, I was awakened at night. I still remember it was 2:42 in the morning. He mentioned the time. Until now I remember. Because me normally when I wake up is also this kind of time. And then he was inspired by Gideons, you know, and then just to have an army of 300 that will step in. So he was not asking the 1,000 of people, no, everybody can come in and share. He was just focusing on these 300 people who might be called to help the church. And me, I didn't know these people, you know, far away, but then I feel, wow, this is my answer, you know. This guy is helping me to give away that money that I made and I really want to do. So I feel it was a blessing. And so I said, okay, wow, these people, I will send that money to them. So I fill it up, you know. Once you fill up, to press the send button, somehow the mouse is stuck there, you know, doesn't want to go. Did I fill up the account number correctly or not? Maybe I think about it tomorrow, you know, can do it. There is plenty here. There is I don't know if you've been through it, but there's a lot of friction here. So I said, okay, boom, just click send, boom, that's it. And then I was happier. And you know what happened after this? Sorry, I think we're running behind time.
Yeah.
So just to tell you what happened after this, in the next few days after sending that big chunk of money, I start losing money. Losing money, but big time money, like in millions of dollars, basically. Wow. So the first, now it's easy to talk about it, but of course the first morning when I saw, I've done this kind of thing, I never done this kind of thing in my life, and then boom, 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 I saw my portfolio like shrinking, and then I just cut it short. Basically, you know what happened? After a few days, I start to have peace again in my heart. I was still losing the money. The money was not, it was still missing there. But what God was working in me, He was basically giving me freedom from the bondage of money, Not the love of money. I don't think I was loving money, but of course I was feeling that money is my security, more than Him. Money first, maybe God second. And then by showing me that, all these great millions that you've made, they can also disappear, but I am enough. And this was, honestly, that was really, the best reward I could have ever.
Praise God. Thank you. Thank you for being so vulnerable to us, being so open. And thank you for being here. We have learned so much from you, so much insights we have gained. Thank you so much. Let's give a big round of applause to Christophe. You can catch up with him after this, Christophe. Yeah, thank you so much. Do join us for the rest of the meeting.
Yes.